Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. As always, a free way to support the channel is by leaving a thumbs up, by leaving a comment, or by telling me what you had for breakfast. Let me know what you plan on doing in the summer. My brain can't think fast enough. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. The total market cap of the entire cryptocurrency market plummeted to $930 billion as Bitcoin lost around $4,000 in value in a day, and most altcoins have followed along. So the last time we all spoke, Bitcoin was around 32,000, 33,000, somewhere around there, and then started pumping, like after my last video, last video, not the last. Anyway, the point is, started moving up higher, and then at some point, what is that on my finger? Okay. And at some point during the evening time, began to fall down. It says after another false breakout, Bitcoin has retraced once again and struggles to maintain above 31,000. Most altcoins have followed the move south, and the total market cap has lost about $80 billion since yesterday. There's no information. There's no news as to why this has happened. The news is kind of fresh, if you will, at the time of me making this video. I give it about a good 3, 4, 5 hours. We'll be able to see exactly what took place. It could be a multitude of things. It could be regulators don't like us. It could be somebody sold off a lot of Bitcoin. Somebody moved a lot of Bitcoin. Something a lot of Bitcoin, and then the Bitcoin, and then JP Morgan said something, and then JP Morgan didn't say something. It could be a million and one things, or it could be that we were in another tight triangular position, and therefore we broke down below the number, so we could only go up or we could go down, and then we ended up going down. Some of that sounds like a joke, but that's actual news that we've gotten before. Like, all those things are usually given as a reason as to why Bitcoin dropped in price. As you might imagine, this is very popular news today, that Bitcoin has dropped, and therefore the entire cryptocurrency market has done the same. A 25th of January report published by crypto data aggregator Glassnode has noted that Bitcoin's adjusted spent output profit ratio, or ASOPR, suggests that a further decrease in prices will leave many investors in the red, according to when their last holdings moved on-chain. Despite the metric suggesting few investors are sitting on paper profits, Glassnode interprets the data as bullish, stating, in order for the SOPR to go lower, investors would have to be willing to sell at a loss, which many people are not willing to do, which is unlikely given the current shape of the market, which we have been looking for. We have been looking for this reset in order to generate some sustainability or stability in the market and pave the way for the next bull run. I chose Glassnode because they said it far more eloquently than a couple of other people who were dishing out this information as well. The idea being is that not many people plan on selling at a loss. A lot of people assume that the market is going to continue going back up, and therefore a lot of people are generally holding on to what they have. There are going to be sellers, of course, and it's usually these people who kind of fuel the market. No one knows exactly who they are, when they are, why they are, but this is kind of the idea. So while prices have dipped, if you will, there's definitely news circulating around that this dip is bullish, because the news that we were getting by the time we broke around 28,000 and flew up to 42,000 was that the market got too hot. We had to consolidate. We had to find where our bottom was. We had to see exactly how far the market would drop, when it would stop, when people would simply go, no, that Bitcoin is far too cheap at this point, and then simply start rebuying once again for the price to go back up. We've hit 30 a couple of times, and we've bounced off of 30, so I guess 30 appears to be our brand new price bottom, if you will. Anyway, the market's down. Things have dropped, taken a breather. And the predictions of already another rally to shoot us back up have already begun. And without further ado, let's move on. Wow, this is mega popular news. Most crypto advocates are familiar with the expression "to the moon," but few have contemplated going beyond the figurative meaning and actually putting Bitcoin on the moon. Mr. Beast, who is a YouTuber, if you haven't heard of Mr. Beast, sure, why not? With 50 million plus followers, his videos are basically like crazy gimmicks that make you wonder why life. In a seemingly harebrained plan, he wants to send 30 Bitcoin, roughly around $1 million, $988,000, to the surface of the moon. Right. This is why I said why. Famous for his audacious stunts, that's a good word for it, including buying the entire contents of 5 stores, giving people $1 million, but they only have a minute to spend it, and building the world's biggest Lego tower. The 22-year-old American, sure why not, his real name is Jimmy Donaldson, said in a recent interview or live stream per Rocket Rundown. I think his craziest video, I actually watched one of them because they keep popping up. The algorithm make sure that you try to watch this video. And there was one where he had 5 people put their hand on a box, and the inside of the box was $1 million, and the last one still holding it by the end of whenever got it. And I think it was 3 days had gone by, and these people looked frail. They just kind of standing there holding onto a box, and one guy won the million, and he made sure this is kind of what gave me a little bit of respect for him. He made sure that this guy didn't just receive the million. He made sure that the guy knew, he's like, wait, I'm giving you $1 million, but you're going to have to pay taxes on it. And he set that money aside so the guy would pay his taxes and not incur any fees or problems. Made the guy buy a house. I think he bought him 2 cars and something else like that. And I think the other $200,000, he was like, okay, this is your fun money. So it was done in a very responsible way, which was kind of nice because most people wouldn't give 2 craps. A company called Astrobotics and NASA are putting a lander on the moon later this year, and we managed to get space on their lander to put a hard drive. And I thought it would be fun to let you guys put whatever you want on that hard drive on the moon. So basically, people were sending him photos, and he's like, as long as I can fill up the hard drive, so and so and so. But then also, he was like, if I raise enough money from the amount of people who are going to be donating for me to put this on the actual moon, that money I'll actually use to buy the Bitcoin to put onto the hard drive, which will then go to the moon. So the literal news is someone is going to put Bitcoin on the moon. I mean, it's no crazier. I think rich people have an affinity for doing really weird things like that. Don't forget Elon Musk, I'm pretty sure it was Elon Musk. Didn't he put a person in an alien suit into a car that he sent just randomly into space playing David Bowie? I didn't dream that, right? I'm pretty sure that's an actual thing that's floating in the air right now. Anyway, yeah. I mean, listen, if it gets you the views, he gets the views because he thinks of the anyway. And someone and sure why not? Someone was asking yesterday. I don't even know how to properly say this without being rude. Someone was asking why I don't say proper words in my videos. It's just who I am. No, there's nothing wrong with me, and I know how to speak English properly and other languages. I just sometimes just make noises because they're kind of fun, and they make it into the video. So I guess thank you for your concern, and thank you also to the person who responded back to them and was like, no, that's just his shtick. Anyway, that's the Mr. Beast news. Without further ado, let's move on. Sometimes the comment section is I sit there and I'm like, somebody said that? That was a thing? Okay, let's move on. In mega unsurprising news, because this keeps happening every single day. Marathon Patent Group, Marathon Patent Group, a NASDAQ-listed firm, has become the second publicly traded firm to convert a portion of their treasury into Bitcoin after the firm announced on Monday that they had bought $150 million in Bitcoin at $31,000 per Bitcoin into its treasury. The decision to convert a portion of the treasury of cash into Bitcoin was initiated by MicroStrategy, who bought over $1.4 billion in Bitcoin. Marathon CEO Marek Okamoto said that the decision to convert a portion of the treasury cash into Bitcoin is a long-term decision, suggesting that they might follow on the footpath of MicroStrategy and continue converting their cash reserves from time to time. They said, by leveraging our cash on hand to invest in Bitcoin now, we have transformed our potential to be a pure play investment into a reality. We also believe that holding part of our treasury reserves in Bitcoin would be a better long-term strategy than holding US dollars, similar to other forward-thinking companies like MicroStrategy. So the news is another company who I'm sure many of you haven't heard of, Marathon Patent Group, has purchased $150 million worth of Bitcoin, and they did it on the dip, which suggests to me they were probably waiting for a dip, and that's when they ended up accumulating. Very popular news. Marathon invests $150 million in Bitcoins. Oh yeah, their stock also popped right up immediately after that news went out. NASDAQ-listed firm Marathon has purchased $150 million in Bitcoin. The dominoes are falling. Another NASDAQ-listed firm just bought Bitcoin. Wonderful. I'm not surprised. I should be more shocked and like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. I totally didn't expect that to take place and happen, even though it's been happening every single day. Kind of cool. I wonder who the third company will be and the fourth company will be, because apparently the thing that really gets the news headlines going is that if they are a publicly traded company on the NASDAQ. Sure. It should just be any company buying any cryptocurrency at an enormous amount should also definitely make the headlines, but it's always the wow, choked on my spit. It should be the any companies. Anyway, we're gonna get more news like this. This isn't going to be the last one. The really crazy part is going to be that we're going to have news from these companies in a week, 3 weeks, 5 weeks. Just on how much money they made when the market starts going back up. And they're going to say, yeah, we got lucky. We bought the dip at 31,000. And then that'll also be their story in like 5 years in the future, because there are a lot of companies right now who are like, yeah, we managed to get into Bitcoin when it was 3,000. It's like, wow, that's crazy. We managed to get into Bitcoin when it was 30,000. Wow, I can't believe that. Bitcoin's $1 million. I wish I had gotten in at 30,000. So, psychological price movements. Anyway, yay, another big company. Not surprised anymore. People and I see this comment a lot, and this was also a comment in 2017, which also just further fuels the time loop cyclical thing. A lot of people are asking, well, it's probably not a good thing that all these rich people have so much Bitcoin, and I'll even try to say what I think about that right now. I've been trying to tell people to buy Bitcoin. It's going on 9 years. That's a long time. About 9 years now. So many people looked at me like I was crazy, said they didn't want to get into it, but they had the opportunity to get into it when it was a much lower price. What ends up happening is that as the value of something goes up, that's when people want to get into it, not realizing that they had the opportunity to be able to do so before. It's usually rich people who validate something or an opinion in other people's minds, and that's when they end up running for it. Have you ever seen, there was a, what's it called? Like a social experiment thing. This was like 3, 4, 5 years ago. There's a shoe store in the States that's known for, it's where people, if they choose to do so, can pay less, wink, wink, for their shoes. They ended up remaking the name of this store into something, something fancy sounding, if you will. I think it was like in French or some other language. And basically up the prices of these shoes from $4.99 to around $799 or $149 per shoe. And people started running into it very, very quickly and tried to buy as many of these shoes as possible. And they were asking them, what do you think of this shoe? It's amazing. It's very stylish. I love the design on it. It's clear that this was a very high quality fabric that was done for this. And at the very end, they told these people who had paid all this money for these shoes, this is actually from this store, and it only costs around $6.99. And the look on their faces, knowing that they had been duped in some sort of way, it's the same exact thing. You can tell people to get into it early. They don't pay attention to it. I told people for many different coins to get into them early. I've been talking about Ethereum since it was around $3 to $4. And now people want to get into it because now they see the value of it because it's rising higher. And they see other rich people talking about, hey, this could reach $20,000 one day. Well, now I want to get into it as well. So it's a shame. Yes, it's an actual shame that all these rich people are buying up so much Bitcoin, but they see the value prospectus of it. Once again, the discussion is this coin could potentially become a world reserve currency. You still have people now. There are still tons of people. It's not like it's too late to buy Bitcoin. The situation is now is that Bitcoin around 30, 31,000, 32, 33, 34, 42,000. People think it's too expensive, so they end up buying into other altcoins. And I mentioned, and I throw them into some videos. I'm like, this altcoin is going to fail. Pay attention. And then 3 months later, we hear nothing about the actual coin, but people have put their money into it because the idea kind of is, if I put my money into that, it could be as big as Bitcoin, or I could become a millionaire and I don't have to worry about or buy Bitcoin in order to be able to become rich and famous and wonderful. So it's the same exact thing. People will continue to put their money into altcoins. Not all altcoins are terrible, but you know exactly which ones I'm talking about. The 99% bulk of the market. And what will happen is Bitcoin will hit 50,000, then Bitcoin will hit 100,000. Their altcoins will rise, and they think that they've made the right decision. The market will go down. These coins will plummet, implode, completely collapse. They'll see Bitcoin at 300,000, see all the rich people are still buying it up and go, well, that's a shame. Like, why are all the rich people buying up all this Bitcoin? It's just how it is. It's just how everything is. It's the same exact way for art. It's the same exact way for real estate. People don't see the value until it's too expensive for them to be able to afford. So they end up buying into something else or buying into another investment. And then that's just kind of how it goes. So this is why even before, when we've had news in 2000, you must remember, for those of you who've been here, in 2018, mainly 2018, whenever we got news that some South American country or some African country or somewhere in Southeast Asia, that they were rapidly getting into cryptocurrencies, I was like, yes, I hope that they are the ones to benefit from this, because I knew that the prices were going to rise. And I'm like, that's great. If they can afford to get into Bitcoin around 3,000, 4,500 and start buying fragments of it, that country will become incredibly rich. And this is what I hoped for. But what ends up happening is the price is too low. Everyone's like, Bitcoin's done for. Bitcoin's not going anywhere. No, we can see the adoption. It's happening every single day. Everyone, please pay attention and look at this adoption. All the cryptocurrency channels begin to fade away. All the hype trains completely left. People started turning off their channels and all this other stuff. Stop their Twitters and their Instagrams and all the photos that they had of them getting off of fake jets, taking off their glasses and showing this hot girl next to them who left them when the market dropped. And then you have a situation where you only have the true believers who are actually gobbling up and buying up the coins, and the institutions. The institutions aren't saying when they're buying for 3,000, but they'll let you know at 30,000 that they were also buying at 3,000 and 4,000 and 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000, 10,000. While most people saw Bitcoin at 10,000 and they went, it's too expensive. It's definitely going to drop again. Remember all those situations where Bitcoin was 12,000? People were like, yeah, it has to drop back to 2,000. And I was like, who told you that? Where are you getting that information from? So it's part of the cycle. People will only get into Bitcoin when it's too expensive for them. We're going to have more people jump into the market when Bitcoin's at 50,000, when Bitcoin's at 100,000, because they'll see the value in it. They want to be able to say that I hold a portion of an asset that is now worth $100,000, as opposed to being like, hey, I could have bought 3 of those at the beginning of the other year and I could have, $300,000, but that's how it is. So, and it'll happen forever and ever until infinity is over, because, anyway, that's the NASDAQ Marathon Patent Group news. And without further ado, let's moving on. So in flip-flop news today, banking giant JP Morgan is sharing 3 upsides to betting on the king of crypto in an assessment issued by JP Morgan's cross-asset strategy team. The firm explains the benefits of investing in Bitcoin despite its large and frequent price fluctuations. Economist and crypto trader Alex Kruger shared the document on Twitter. In it, the banking firm highlights overall favorable market conditions, the diminishing returns of bonds and conventional hedges, and Bitcoin's unconventional platform as factors that make the asset worth enduring high volatility. He said, why bother considering an unconventional and high volatility hedge? 3 reasons: equity and credit valuations look record rich, for very young business cycle. Conventional hedges like DM bonds barely serve as insurance when the U.S. 10-year rates are near 1% and some as yet unseen shocks, materially higher inflation, economically debilitating cyber attacks, or climate catastrophe. Okay, why not? Could favor an asset that operates outside conventional channels. So the news is, a JP Morgan analyst has come forward basically saying, hey, here are a couple reasons why you should be investing in Bitcoin. And I said flip-flop news because I don't know if I mentioned it or saw it or showed all of you. I'm not sure what it is. JP Morgan is becoming quite the... is the word annoyance? I think I'll use the word annoyance. Every 4 or 5 days, we get JP Morgan news. The issue is one day JP Morgan loves Bitcoin. They say it's great. It's a hedge. You should be looking at it. It could definitely go to this price sometime in the future. The next day, JP Morgan's like, Bitcoin is not something many people should be looking into. It is, we don't think it's a hedge. We think it maybe has a couple more good years and so and so and so. And then 3 to 4 days later, it is like Bitcoin is probably going to be around for the next 100 years. Companies should be looking into it as a hedge, and therefore it is so and so and so. And it's this really weird loop. And I'm not sure why they're doing it. I think it's just because they're legally able to do it. I have said that many other times before. I think when there's no real insider trading, if you will, within the cryptocurrency space, I'm pretty sure, just an assumption, that a lot of companies are using any tactics that they would not normally be able to use for stocks, and they're basically implementing that towards the cryptocurrency space. Anyway, yeah, so JP Morgan now today thinks that Bitcoin could be a very good hedge and therefore should be looked into because of inflation and diminishing this and so that. The next time we see some JP Morgan news, I assure you it's going to be negative because that's just how the cycle has been going for them. Anyway, that's the JP Morgan Chase news for today. Wait, I couldn't move the mouse to get away quick enough. There we go. Speak of the electric devil, that sounded weird. Vietnamese Bitcoin exchange VBTC is integrating Lightning. In an announcement on Sunday, Vietnam's oldest and reportedly only Bitcoin exclusive exchange revealed that the Lightning Network withdrawals are now open to its users. Crazy, right? Because we were just talking about this yesterday and like 3 days before as well. We're starting to get all these cryptocurrency exchanges who are announcing that they're going to be integrating Lightning. And my friend, Hello, sent me a message basically being like, no, we need Visa and MasterCard to take Lightning. And I was like, The reason why I focus on the cryptocurrency space is because I think we need to make Lightning robust first by itself. I do not think exclusively or that Visa and MasterCard are going to be integrating something that is not fragile, but that isn't really widely accepted or used within the cryptocurrency space. Once every cryptocurrency exchange, because also, listen, it's cryptocurrency exchanges who have banking licenses and who also have issued cards. When we can see that cryptocurrency exchanges are able to do transactions in 1 second for one tenth of a cent per fee, any other banking establishment is going to have to keep up with that. And that's the point when they go, well, we're also integrating Lightning as well. We already know that Bitcoin has won. It's just a matter of its price going to the we won levels and all the other integrations and stuff like that. But Lightning I'm quite fascinated at how rapidly this is being added onto different cryptocurrency exchanges. And I really hope by like March that we have some Binance, Kraken already has it, Binance or Coinbase news that they're also going to be integrating it. Because, I mean, who doesn't love 1 second transactions and 1 Satoshi fees? That would completely obliterate many other altcoins. According to an article by Bitcoin VN News, the media arm of Bitcoin VN, a parent company which also owns VBTC, Lightning Network withdrawals are priced at, that's expensive. Priced at 1,000 Satoshis, plus 0.2% of the withdrawal amount. Normal Bitcoin withdrawals have a fee of around 100,000 Satoshis. Okay, Lightning Network transactions are usually 1 Satoshi, so I mean, it's not expensive, but you get what I'm saying. Everyone's trying to make a buck. Anyway, yeah. I hope we get more Lightning Network news. I would actually love that because I think it's going to be very important in the future for adoption. Like completely. Anyway, Lightning news, let's move on. I just woke up and I'm trying to like fight being tired as I'm like, I don't know if you can see my eyes. I'm like every couple of seconds they keep like drooping down. I roll out of bed, make a video, and then I'm like, I probably should, wake up a little bit more before I do this, but alas, here I am. The World Economic Forum's upcoming Davos agenda will feature 2 separate sessions on cryptocurrency. offering another compelling sign that digital assets have permeated mainstream consciousness. The sessions, titled Resetting Digital Currencies, will be held on Monday and Thursday. The first session will feature 5 public speakers, including Who Cares. Thursday's groups features 4 speakers. Those are also names right there. They said, or someone said, 19 has accelerated the long-term shift from cash, reads the prospectus for both sessions. Meanwhile, central bank digital currencies are emerging, potentially transforming how people use money worldwide. So expect any news that we get from Davos basically bashing cryptocurrencies in some sort of way. It's no longer a government versus Bitcoin. It's now governments don't like anything that is an actual cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrencies are decentralized. They are immutable, or they should be immutable. This is why we have the discussion about 51% attacks. But that's the idea. Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency. Everything else is a digital currency. Central bank digital currencies, stable coins, yada, yada. These are digital currencies. These are not decentralized. What we have now is, I think it was the head of the Bank of England, it was the head of the International Monetary Fund, and someone else basically calling for not a ban, but for regulation of Bitcoin, because they see exactly where this is going. The news that we keep getting from higher ups in the market and higher ups in the world is that the US dollar looks like it's crumbling, and the euro and the yen are not going to be actual replacements. So we also have news every single day that banks and companies and institutions are buying up tons of Bitcoin as a hedge against the US dollar. Why would they be buying it up as a hedge against the US dollar unless they expect or are foreseeing that the US dollar is going to actually fall? Once again, we only have to hit $250,000 per Bitcoin. I know it seems like it's far away. It's not. For Bitcoin to be able to overthrow, usurp, supplant, move aside the US dollar. I'm getting a lot of discussions as well and it's totally normal. It's totally natural. I'm not talking down to these people or about these people, but because I think it's an actual thing that enters their mind. I've heard it about 5 times this month alone, just this month, of people who are saying, hey, I'm thinking about getting into investing. It starts out as investing. What should I invest in? And I'm like, well, what do you think about investing in? And it tumbles from them. I was thinking about gold. I was thinking about stocks. I was thinking about mutual funds because I heard about passive income and I want to start working in about 5 years. And I was thinking about Bitcoin as well. And at that point, I can see the glimmer in their eyes because they want me to say something about Bitcoin. So I go, what are you kind of thinking? The thing that always comes up in their mind, it's the same exact discussion, is, well, I thought about getting into crypto and I thought about buying some Bitcoin the other day, but I read online that Germany, that France, that the US, that Japan, that Canada, that so-and-so, that this country, that country, that they're thinking of making their own digital currency. And I think, is that going to make Bitcoin obsolete? And then you have to have the conversation with them. And basically, if you have any friends who have these same exact worries, either send them this video or tell them exactly what I'm going to tell you. The idea is that they're going to simply be digitizing their current currency. Bitcoin is not special because it's digital. Bitcoin is special because it's finite. Bitcoin is special because it's not owned by anyone. Bitcoin is special because the network is open to everyone. The exact same system, the exact same model that we have for people for the Federal Reserve, for the European Central Bank, for the Central Bank of so-and-so, is that they control the monetary supply. When that is digitized, nothing is going to change. You already use your phone to tap and pay. You use your card to tap and pay. All these things are already digital. It's about them trying to take out the physical paper money from circulation to simply have everyone only use their phones or their cards or whatever other digital way that you decide to pay. That's kind of it. The money, the circulating supply of the US dollar is going to continue to increase as it becomes more digital. It is not going to stop inflation, and the inflation rate that the US dollar usually, they say, tries to hit is around 1% every year. It's actually between 2 to 3%, sometimes a little bit more. And we saw that last year, usually around $8 trillion is printed and pushed into the market. Last year, we saw around $7 trillion that were printed, made, and pushed into markets to kind of keep them up. This devalues other currencies. Fiat currencies are constantly devalued. You may see their values going up against other currencies. That's because they're being traded. Because another one's being traded off because it has hit inflation, hyperinflation levels. So what's going to happen is, even when the entire world is digital, and we are only using digital forms of payment, we are still going to see the decrease in value for the digital dollar, the digital yen, the digital euro, the digital Canadian dollar next to the value of Bitcoin. Bitcoin, in essence, is a deflationary currency if you look at it in terms of the actual world currencies that we have right now. These digital currencies that governments are making are not going to hurt Bitcoin in any way. They're actually only going to help Bitcoin because people will be able to see in real time the actual printing of the digital currencies that they're using. And they'll be able to see, we can even see this right now for the US dollar. You can look at the actual charts of the devaluation of the US dollar since 1971. 1971, for those of you who don't know, the US dollar was pegged to the value of gold. And when that dropped, you can see the actual chart. I think the US dollar has lost 99% of its value since 1971 alone. This is why Bitcoin's important. So to finish all of that off, no, the digitization of the paper money that you use is not going to be a threat to Bitcoin. It is only going to help Bitcoin because Bitcoin's value comes from its scarcity and the fact that it's, once again, it's open. People don't understand the power of a network that's 24 hours a day that has no downtime. You've tried to deposit money into your bank account or send money to someone. What does the banker tell you? It'll be there in about 2 to 3 business days. Imagine it being there instantaneously. Imagine your fee being 1/10 of a cent. Imagine no one being able to tell you that you can or cannot send your money or what you can and cannot do with your money. Now imagine a world where they use the US dollar, they use the Canadian dollar, they use the something, they use the euro, they use this, and everyone is able to use Bitcoin. There's no borders. There's no stopping it. You can do it. It sounds unreal to the human mind because we've grown up in a world where you know that if you fly for 3 hours, you're in another country and you have to swap out your currency for another to be able to do business in that land. We've never had something where people are able to just use a currency anywhere in the world that they want and swap that same one currency back and forth for the same currency. It's never been a thing. So to finish it off, wow. To finish it off, just expect any news that we get from Davos to basically be Bitcoin bashing, with people not liking Bitcoin, talking about it has to be regulated, it has to be so-and-so. It's only going to help Bitcoin. Anyway, yeah, I think we can move on from that topic because I think I've exhausted everything. Don't worry about the digitized versions of the money that we already have. We're already using digitized versions of it. They're going to continue printing. They're going to continue issuing more debt and taking on more debt as countries have done. And it's only going to cause they can't stop the crumbling of their fiat currencies. That's not a revolutionary phrase. That's not me saying it as like power to the people kind of thing. It's like, no, we know that fiat currencies are terrible. Making them extra numbers on the screen and getting away with the paper money is only going to strengthen Bitcoin's use case. We had news before in 2018. There was a congressional and I think a senatorial hearing where, they have people sit in front of them. And one of the things they were talking about was Bitcoin. And everyone in the crypto space was sitting there watching it. And they basically were like, well, what are the prospects for Bitcoin? And the guy was like, it's decentralized, it's so and so. And so nobody owns it. You can't own it. I can't own it. It's the entire world essentially owns Bitcoin. And they were like, well, what happens if we have a digital US dollar? And, they were like, well, it's controlled by a centralized force. We make sure that we have the monetary policies. We can tell people when and when not to use their money. Should we have a stock market crash or we see that the value of our currency is plummeting, we can actually freeze it until things, kind of stabilize. And the person on the panel was like, so you're saying that, there's basically like a big red button that we can kind of hit to stop all transactions. Yes, essentially. And the fact that didn't ring off alarm bells in everyone's head in the room is kind of a thing. So we have now situations where governments are collapsing and crumbling and the governments have shut off bank accounts for their people. Or you're able to get around, what was the other country? $200 per week of your own money. So imagine the future when really all they have to do, like there are no more ATMs. There are no more tellers. You can't go and get physical paper money from your bank account. It's just simply on your phone. And you try to take out money or use your money. You tap it. What's going on? You get a little red letter. It says, government doing work. We broke. Please wait for further words so you can use your money. It's going to happen, which would then only cause more people to get into Bitcoin. I hope you all understand what's taking place right before our eyes. We're actually witnessing history, like actual history. Not only is 19 a major part of history, but we're seeing the argument now that 19 is or has helped to accelerate the digitization of the world, which is something that governments have wanted for a very long time. We had news about this years ago. There was a guy it was JP Morgan Chase and I think the Bank of America. I don't know which panel they were on. This was whatever. Where basically they were saying that they want digital payments. They wanted a digital dollar because it allows them to keep track of every single payment that's happening within the network. There's no more AML, KYC kind of conversations. There's no more you didn't pay so-and-so. They know exactly how much you should have paid and how much comes up on your screen and exactly when you tapped exactly how much you paid. That's what I was like before. There are certain places around the world where they're trying to implement a thing where not only can you pay with your phone, but as you're entering a train, you can tap your phone. Do you know why that is? Because it's an extra way to be able to track where you are. Why do you think there's cameras everywhere now? Why do you think your phone has multiple cameras? Why do you think we have that those memes, which aren't really memes, that everything you say is picked up by your phone? That's why you get the ads from the things that you're saying out loud. When you tap your phone, when your GPS is always on, but it can't be on when you're underground, you tap your phone, I'm going into this location. Even in London, you have to tap out when you're exiting the metro. I'm exiting at this location as you tap your phone. They're figuring out extra ways to be able to control. Once again, not a tinfoil hat thing. It's just how governments actually are. We had that conversation of when India did the exact same thing when they got rid of their largest paper note. They were like, yeah, people are using the money too much, and we want to make sure that we know where all the money's going. Why do you think that every single country right now is trying to figure out how to digitize their money? Because they want ultimate control. How do you get ultimate control? You put cameras everywhere. Everyone holds a GPS device with them at all times. Everything you buy, everything you look at online is monitored. This is why the idea of Ethereum. And when you see me getting the word's impatient, I'll use the word impatient as to why Ethereum hasn't really upgraded yet. The idea for Ethereum was meant to be a decentralized internet. The original idea in 2014, 2015, when Ethereum was first proposed, was to be put forth as this robust 1 million, 10 million transactions per second internet that you could build anything, you could do anything that you wanted on top of this internet and no one could stop you. I assume that's where it's going to go eventually in the future. But I'm a bit annoyed because we're supposed to have had this couple of years ago. We're supposed to now have Ethereum 3.0 plus somewhere around there. But, things do take time. So in the future, things will look quite different. When we have Bitcoin with private transactions that take 1 second to execute and also cost 1 Satoshi to be able to actually transfer money, that's going to change the world of finance completely. When Ethereum does, or any other chain at this point, this is why I mentioned before in other videos, I'm like, listen, if you can do it, do it. Stop talking about it. Stop talking about how amazing you are, how cool you are, how many transactions you can do. Show the world that you can do it. If you can beat Ethereum and create an actual world computer that people can use whatever they want, no restriction, that you can put anything, you can see anything, you can do anything that you want on these platforms, by all means, go for it. It's just a matter of actually doing it. Anyway, I got a little off track with the Davos thing, but there's always a lot to talk about. So many people just focus on the prices of these things, not realizing that we are seeing the world change right before our eyes. Why do you think there's so much pushback against Bitcoin? It's because it frees people. Even if Bitcoin isn't the one that's going to make it, which logically it looks like it's going to be, even if there's another coin, it's going to follow Bitcoin's model. It's going to be decentralized. It takes away power from governments. Governments have all the power because they issue the money. What happens when they don't issue money anymore? When it's 38 million people around the world who are running these computers, they lose all their power. Power's in the money. What happens when you control your own money? What happens when you can take your money off the internet and then put it onto a cold storage device and store it away somewhere? You're in control of your own money. What happens when you spend your money at will to buy whenever you want with private transactions? You're in control of your own money. The government has no idea what's happening with that money because it's not their computer. It's not in a centralized space and they can't see what's happening to it. What happens when the original idea for the internet around 95, 96, 97, 98, 99 was this open space that no one had control of? It's why a couple of years ago when, who was that guy? I don't remember the guy's name. I'm sure somebody remembers it. The guy who made it so, basically like the hyper-centralization of the internet. Like, this is why there are specific web browsers and why there are specific this, and you're told to go here and you're told to do that. The entire idea of everything has become, I'm tired of using the word centralized, but it's exactly what it is. You can do this, you can do that, you can't do this, you have to stay within this exact little line, and the moment you break out of it, you've done something wrong. What happens when someone creates a system that the entire world can use where there are no restrictions? Who has the power then? The people have the power. Not to sound all, fist in the air, but this is the idea of it. This is why cryptocurrencies are important. But so many people just focus on the money aspect, and it's really a shame. Because the system that we've lived under for so long, it can go away by tomorrow if we want it to. Like, actually, if everyone on the planet simply adopted Bitcoin, if we had 35 major companies tomorrow saying, hey, we're going to integrate Lightning, and within a month, they had all their systems up and going, and every person on the planet was like, let me get a fragment of some Bitcoin, or even some Litecoin, or some Ethereum, and started using that, even if we just had 3 world currencies. It's totally possible. Totally possible to be able to do, to be able to use. Start building up infrastructure for a worldwide internet. This is why it annoys me when we have 39 different altcoins who do the exact same thing, but none of them do anything different than one another. Well, I made a coin that's better than Ethereum. I made a coin that's better than that. That's fine. They're doing it for money, and this is the part of the problem. It's just about money. Why not work? Imagine if all these companies who made these crappy coins worked together to build just on top of Ethereum, to make all their other coins side chains or other layers on top of Ethereum, and Ethereum had 35 different layers. Super fast. 25 million transactions per second. This year. How much farther ahead, even as a society, we would have gone? How many barriers would have been broken? How many other things we would be able to, okay, cool, we got that done. We figured out money. We figured out the internet. It's available, open to everyone. You can do whatever you want in it, as the original idea for the internet was. Let's work on something else that's plaguing society. But it's always about money. It's always about being slow. It's always about people being like, well, I want that coin because Bitcoin's too expensive. You don't understand what Bitcoin is. You're not really understanding it. You're looking at it from a view, well, I need to buy that coin because I want to buy a new Lambo. Not that this is going to be a world currency. Things are going to be pegged to it. Other currencies that are going to be created in the future after fiat currencies have failed are going to be pegged to Bitcoin. People have the opportunity now to be able to buy a portion of these coins, of these algorithms. It's all there. It's all in front of our faces. And this is why I have the channel, to let people really understand where all this is going. Remember, we were talking about years ago, the idea of self-driving cars, the democratization and decentralization of finance, and everyone being able to actually have their hand in the cookie jar when it comes to being able to invest. Investing right now is very restrictive. Not everyone has, $5 million to invest in a painting. What if that painting is digitized on a blockchain and you're simply able to put in $5,000 or $10,000 and you can see every year as the value, art typically gains in value by around 19% per year on average. Sometimes it's a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less. The average is 19%. This goes the same exact thing if you talk about the stock exchange, that, stocks historically tend to mature around 6 to 7% per year, even after there are dips. Imagine you can see that you put 10,000 into something and digitally on a blockchain, the value of that is rising by 19% per year. You would have never been able to buy that painting for $5 million, but you have $10,000 worth. You see it go up by 19%, and that then is something that in the future you can then give to your kids to say, hey, we actually own you can go to a museum. Look at that painting and tell your kids we own a fraction of that. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, here I'm passing it on to you. Here's $100K for something that I invested years ago. The idea of self-driving cars, of being same exact way, being on a blockchain, and you and your friends, this car is worth, 20, 30,000. You can't really afford that, but you and 9 of your friends, all 10 of you can put 3,000 in. You each own a tenth of that car. There's no fighting over who gets the actual money when things are happening. You can use that car as an Uber or a Lyft. It goes to pick up people. It's self-driving. Whenever someone taps their phone, taps their whatever to pay, that money then equally goes to you and your friends. Like, you can see it on your phone. Like, you can even have a vibration whenever that happens. Every 12 minutes, your phone keeps vibrating and you see that you have money, you have money, you have money, you have money, you have money. That's what the future is going to be like. That's the future that we're moving towards. And this is why I think it's very important that everyone know that all these things are coming now so that you can plan accordingly. Anyway, I'm very excited for the future, if you couldn't tell. I love the idea of technology, microtransactions, micro robots floating through our systems. Like, I love all these things because it's going to put us into a brand new era. But it's about people working together. This is why is there a Bitcoin Cash? Why is there a Bitcoin Cash Satoshi's Vision? Why is there a Bitcoin Diamond or Bitcoin Gold or Bitcoin Silver or a Litecoin Silver? It's about money. These people don't actually care about you or anything else. It's about making themselves rich so that they can buy actual real world assets. Pay attention. Don't fall for the false prophets. That's the only way that I can kind of say it. Keep your eye on the ball. Why are all the major banks and institutions buying up Bitcoin and not betting big on the US dollar or betting big on stocks or betting big on real estate? Let's move on. And to finish things off, the largest Bitcoin exchange in Brazil, Mercado Bitcoin, has announced its intentions to spread its tentacles. That's a weird way of saying that. Over South America is a very weird way of saying that. Spread its tentacles. This was made known by Reynaldo Rabello, who is the CEO of the crypto exchange firm. According to Rabello? Is that an I? The first countries the exchange would touch down on would be Chile, Mexico, and Argentina. He added that these countries have a regulatory environment that is quite similar to Brazil. So I guess the news is, it says it right there. Cool. A big cryptocurrency exchange is trying to make it further through South America. Kind of cool. Hope it works out. These are the people who should be buying up cryptocurrencies. I can't say that it's you, but you understand. It's the people who are not the billionaires who should have access to all these coins, who should be potentially investing in these coins to gain economic freedom. It should not be the people at the very top always controlling everything. It's why I also bring you the news about the rich people. It's to let you know, hey, they're doing it. You can too. Anyway, cool. We have a lot of news, not often, not that often, about new exchanges in South America or Africa or Southeast Asia. It's about people there knowing as well that they can get away from their current systems, which are usually terribly corrupt and rotten, but it just takes time. Let's move on. As always, that was a lot of flickering on my screen. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. Almost had a heart attack. I looked at the screen and I saw 1,316. I thought that was Bitcoin. An actual heart attack. Like, I was like, it's like, what happened? Professor Wally from Gunbot University quoted Biddy, Bare Bones Mining, Troy Allgood, Space Case, Need a Miracle, Crypto Stahl, George Montoya, Wiselink, not TMI, Conan, Don't Skip Leg Day, Snacky Chan, Tolik Banan, Auspicious Agile and Blockchain, Navarro Williams, David James, Attila the Han, Yasha Harari, Oscar Maldonado, Utopia 569, Moonman High, XRP, Joshua Vineyard, Martin Steuer, Nostromo, John Sarson, The Animal Reader, A Bibliophobia, Todd Mullis, Adam Graysick, Moher Maroney, Master Ventures in Thailand, Jared Schneider, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Bankroll Network, Crypto Artist, Cole D3D, Damien Setsuna, Richie Rich III, Vlad the Impaler Paxis, Nick Mangialavori, Anthony Charles, Jim Gardner, Jeremy Fox, Minting Coins, Miller Hitch Test every day, and Kyle Skips Leg Day. Yes to Crypto, Bodie McBoatface, Anytime Fitness, Monk's Corner Staff, ArfMedic17, Bake Me a Cake, Tigara Machonisa, On Crypto with Lionel, Crayola Michelle, URL, and Bolero Bastos. Thank you all very, very much for your support. Thank you to everyone who is a member of the channel. Thank you to everyone who is a clicker of affiliate links. Thank you to everyone who has left a thumbs up, who has left a comment, who is still here listening to my voice at the moment. Bitcoin is not $1,000, thank the heavens. It is currently at $31,589. Once again, no real news as to why the market has fallen. Should there be some significant news and simply not people were afraid, I will definitely bring it to you. Ethereum is currently at 13.14. Just dropped a little smidge. Everything has followed the exact same motion. This little dip up, little dip down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Same exact movements for the magnet that is Bitcoin. Uniswap is up by 7. Okay, Theta is up by almost 20. Wonderful. Anything else crazy? Solana's up by 10. Decred is up by 10% as well. They have broken the trend. Yeah. I do hope that you all enjoyed. I do hope that you understand what I'm saying, what I've put forth, what I'm trying to make sure that everyone here understands. It doesn't always have to be the rich who get richer. Hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope that it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.